This is great. I like this. At one point, you guys were like a little fraternity, just the four of you guys. And yeah, at one point before, the explosion of 98 degrees, yeah, you guys are probably traveling in packs, staying together in one room. What was that like back then?
Like a smaller version of a frat house, like a frat room, pretty much. We were just starting out, so a lot of it was grassroots for a very long time. Even after we got signed, contrary to popular belief, we all thought, oh man, we got a record deal, we got signed to Motown, and now we're gonna, live the high life. That didn't happen for a long time. We did a lot of grassroots stuff, travel, the accommodations. We were on a budget and trying to prove ourselves, even though we had songs out and stuff like that. So it was pretty wild.
I read somewhere that, or maybe it was Danielle that actually told me about it, that you guys are still on the same tour bus. Is that true?
But, yeah, not the exact same model or the exact same bus, but we do still ride together. Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Because I remember back in the day, Z100 had me go on a tour with you guys. We made one or two stops, and then we ended up down in Great Adventure, where you guys played on, that Great Adventure. And I was on that tour bus, and I'm thinking, there's no way that this thing is still around. I'm sorry, go ahead.
When we first started out, we were actually driving our own motorhome across the country. We had our pictures plastered on the side, and we would drive ourselves. We'd finish a show, and then literally we'd take shifts. I'd drive with our security guy, and then Jeff would drive with his buddy. I mean, as Jeff said, it was truly like grassroots. We were just, we were doing whatever it took to make it happen.
That's got to be, now that you guys are, together again, you guys are retouring. I'm sure there's so many places that you stop and you're like, yo, isn't this the place where blah, 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 blah happened? Like, you're probably bringing back so many memories. So give me one of those, if there is one. And I think there's got to be one where you're at some kind of, whatever stadium it is, and you're like, holy cow, this is exactly where blah, blah, blah happened. Give me one of those.
Oh, it happens all the time. I mean, literally anytime we're in New York City, we're like, oh, remember that was the hotel we stayed in when we first moved here, and we parked the U-Haul out on the street, and we had to like stay up there, and we were like, all four of us were in one room because Motown hadn't approved our budget yet, and then we'll go into different venues, and we'll be like, oh, this is the one where you kicked the hole in the wall. Oh yeah, that's this one. Yeah. So there's always these little memories, but a lot of times the names change. Like, oh, it was the, Better Home and Garden Arena, and now it is the, whatever the next one is. So yeah, it's kind of hard until you get in the building and you're like, oh, this all looks so familiar now. But it happens constantly.
Or Greg, we got started in New York. I mean, we formed in LA. We're all from Ohio, formed in LA, got signed in New York, and pretty much New York kind of blew us up. And when we got signed to Motown, we lived in Brooklyn. And, it wasn't a very nice part of Brooklyn. And then years later, when we regrouped for the package tour, we did the Barclays Center. And it was like, wow, I mean, none of that stuff was there when we lived there at all. And it's a beautiful spot now. But, stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah, now what makes you guys decide, let's all get back together and let's get on tour? How difficult is it to get the four of you? Because you guys are all doing different things at different times. But what was the deciding factor that said, you know what, let's all do this. Let's come back together again.
Gambling debts.
No, that's honestly the hardest part is working everyone's schedule out. I mean, the desire to do it is always there. We love performing together. We love singing together. I think we have more fun together now than we ever have in our career. It's just now we have families and now we have other things going on. It's like, how do we align the schedules to make it happen? So that's the hardest part. But the desire to do it and the joy we get from doing it is always there.
Speaking of families, so yeah, you guys all have kids now, and you're all married. What about some of your own kids right now? Are they jumping into the entertainment business? What are they up to?
I mean, my daughter's a senior in high school now, and she loves theater and performing. So she's kind of geared towards pursuing that after high school. I'm trying to convince her every single day not to. I think the medical profession is a much more consistent life. But whatever any of our kids decide, I think we're always going to support them and
Sure.
try and give them every tool they possibly can to achieve whatever their dreams are.
But that seemed like such a real answer. And so I want to ask you for real. Like, so you guys lived it, you did it, and now you're getting back together again. But you think that if your kids were to ask you, "Hey, Dad, what do you really think about this?" You might persuade them to not get into the entertainment business. Is that right?
I think
I mean, I
we
don't think
would persuade them to know about it.
I don't think we really could. I mean, at least for me, that would feel hypocritical. I mean, look, if that's what they want to do and that's the dream they want to pursue, then they certainly would have my support. But there's also a lot of it's kind of like with your kids, you want to find out what they're passionate about and then do everything you can to support that passion and that vision. If it's if it's the arts, if it's singing, if it's acting, if it's dancing, then great. I mean, if it's sports, then great. If it's computer programming, equally great. You want the best thing for them and what they're passionate about. Certainly don't want to project your life on them. That's at least the way I try to look at it. So, but if it is the arts, I mean, who am I to say no? I mean, it's been a great path for me and my wife, and we certainly would embrace it for our kids if that's what they want to do.
I got to tell you, if they came to me and was like, "Dad, I want to be in radio," I definitely would say no. I'd be like, "Get out." Justin is running a campaign to fund affordable housing in Cincinnati. And you guys said, we all know that you guys are from Ohio. Can any of you guys touch upon that at all?
Yeah, the homelessness has always been something that Justin's been passionate about for a long time. He's had different political aspirations in the past where he's just tried to be a part of the political system in order to bring about some change. And honestly, I think it's a good example for everybody. Like, if there's change that you want to see, that you want to create, then you have to be a part of that change. And I think him putting his money where his mouth is and trying to actually step up and do something about it is very commendable.
Nice. Hey, how many tour dates are you guys planning already? What's on schedule?
I think for this one, it's a short run. What happened was, we celebrated our 25th anniversary actually a little while back, but we had many more dates on the books, but we couldn't celebrate it because of COVID. It kind of postponed everything. And I know that the fans kind of anticipated celebrating this with us. So we all kind of got our schedules together. So at least let's do something to celebrate it. So we put on 15 dates on the books. We're doing some dates with All for One with O-Town. Those guys are great friends of ours, and many dates on our own too. Just to celebrate that, we're putting out some new music. We've got this great partnership with this label EX1, and we're doing the meet and greets and all that good stuff with our fans. All that stuff's on our website, 98degrees.com. And then that's to tee up the new releases of music first quarter. We're planning on releasing 5 new songs. I mean, Nick wrote a great song that we think is going to be maybe our leadoff single. It's incredible. And we're continuing to record, and then we're going to re-record some of our masters, a la Taylor Swift and all these other folks are doing. So
what's that like, re-recording some of your old school music? I read that as well. Like, so how difficult is that? Do you change up the song a little bit, or you're like, this time let's do this with it?
I mean, I think you want to keep it pretty true to what the original was, because that's what people have fallen in love with, right? So you're recreating, in a sense, what they've already fallen in love with, and so the challenge is really, in my mind, to kind of keep it in the same lane. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing remixes and doing different versions of it, but when you talk about re-recording your masters, to me, that's what that means. It's like really trying to keep it true to the original.
Let me ask you something. I don't know if everybody even knows, how did 98 Degrees become 98 Degrees? Like, where did you guys all meet? Give me that whole backstory, because I don't know if everybody really knows how you guys just all of a sudden appeared, on the scene. Where does 98 Degrees actually derive from?
It's Jeff's fault.
Is it?
It is Jeff's fault. Yeah.
Come on, tell me. I want you to take me back. Take me back to whoever's idea it was. How did you guys all get together?
Well, I think we all wanted to pursue something like this. Otherwise, I don't think we would be here now, right? I think that Boyz II Men was the rage at that time. We were all big fans individually. I started the group with some other guys in a different part of Ohio, and you didn't have YouTube or any of the social medias you had to go to LA or New York. So we drove to LA, started making a little bit of traction, probably more in my mind than we were actually making. And those guys kind of went back and kind of gave up on it. And I ended up meeting a guy that went to school with Nick, Drew, and Justin. And I couldn't find anybody in LA to join this group, but I was doing auditions and everything. And he gave me a tape of Nick's voice. So all I I couldn't look him up on Google. I didn't see what he looked like. I just heard his voice. I'm like, this is the guy. I got him on the phone and probably told him a bunch of things that weren't true and convinced him to drive to LA. And he joined me out there. And the first time I'd ever seen Nick is when he joined the group. I mean, it was pretty crazy in LA. Wow. And then he brought just friend Justin out and his brother Drew. And then we kind of got together and snuck backstage at a Boys II Men concert like they did, when they got signed. And then we ended up getting discovered backstage at one of their concerts in LA. So it was pretty wild.
That's incredible. Listen, guys, I did not know that story. That's awesome. I'm sure a lot of people that are hearing this right now did not know. That's incredible. You always wonder, like, where do these bands come from? How does it all happen? Like, all of a sudden they got a smash hit single, but how does that happen? That's crazy to me. That's awesome, man. That's a great story. All right, listen, real quick, let's do this. Do, marry, or throw off the tour bus. All right. Geez. So if I had, let's say if we have Backstreet Boys, Hanson, and let's say an O-Town, who are we doing, marrying, and throwing off the tour bus? Backstreet Boys, Hanson, O-Town.
I don't even know how to answer this question.
Yeah. I'll go first.
All right.
I'll do Hanson.
All right.
Nah, I'll do O-Town, marry Hanson, and throw Backstreet off the bus.
That was the same thing I was going to say.
That's great. That's good.
You got 5 guys in Backstreet. Space on the tour bus is very limited. So you gotta make as much room as possible.
Hanson's only 3. You got plenty of room.
I gotta tell you, I went walking around the building here, and I go, dude, I want to play this ridiculous game with them. You know, the do, marry, kill, but instead of that, we'll do, marry, throw off the tour bus. So I asked people, give me the bands you want to know. They're like, one guy's like, Westlife. Ask him about Westlife. I'm like, dude, would you ever remember Westlife? Like, if there was, of course. So many, do you really?
Yeah, those guys are legends. Those guys had more #1s than the Beatles in the UK. They were a big group.
What about like Take That? You guys remember Take That?
Oh, yeah, Robbie Williams. Yeah.
Man, what about Dream Street? Dream Street. Come on now.
Dream Street, of course. That was I think that was one of Michael Bivins' groups, right? He was part of the Biv 10. They were part of Biv 10.
All right, what about 5? What about 5?
Oh, we know those guys real well.
We definitely throw them off the bus.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's great. I mean, you know, everybody's talking about, you know, all the boy bands are coming back. Yeah, Backstreet Boys already, they're on tour. Obviously, the rumors are always swirling about NSYNC. It's like, are they going on tour? Are they not going on tour? Will Justin, travel with them? And it goes on and on and on forever. Do you guys have any insight to that, whether or not they might be actually going on tour?
We hope so.
Right.
I think like every fan of that era of music, I mean, everybody wants to see that reunion happen. I mean, for us, we're friends with them. I mean, we toured with them in the UK on the Smash Hits tour before either of us really had success. So we've known them for a long time and would love to see them get back together and hit the road. We kind of say that, as far as, any like competition, when one of us succeeds, that means the whole genre succeeds. So, if they're able to get back together, and I mean, I'm sure they would do a stadium tour. I mean, give us a call, boys. Let us go on tour with you. Let's make it happen.
I think you're right. I think that it's good for everybody. It's good for all of you guys when something like that happens. I 100% agree. During this time, though, some of you were branching off and you were actually blending in with some of those other boy bands, making your own tour together. Tell me a little bit about how that went.
Yeah, back in 2017, we did the My2K tour with O-Town, and we took out Ryan Cabrera and Dream, another girl band from back in the day. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And to Drew's point, it's like the genre is so much fun, and we've all kind of crossed paths over the years. And so to be able to kind of go out and share the stage with people that you enjoy and who have gone through similar things that you've gone through, and it's just it just makes a lot of sense, and it's a lot of fun. So obviously there was competition back in the day. People like to make a lot of that, but the truth of the matter is that we're friends with all those guys and wish them nothing but the best. And I think the more we can kind of collaborate together, whether it's going out on tour with New Kids on the Block and Boys II Men, or going out on tour with O-Town and Cabrera, or hopefully, as Drew just said, maybe one day we get to go out on tour with NSYNC. I mean, it's a special kind of bond that we all share. It was a special time in music, and it's great to be able to celebrate that in a live on stage kind of setting.
I mean, listen, guys, there's, everybody knows that nobody's lying when they go, the three biggest, of course, were, 98 Degrees, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. That was it. Like, you three stole the radio charts everywhere you went. It was all about you three. And to see, two of you guys back, coming back now to do the tour, it'd be great to see all three of you. But yeah, you guys are awesome, dude. 98 Degrees, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. You guys are fucking phenomenal. So anyway,
Thanks, man.
I can say that now. It's a podcast, and we can say that, It's
Perfect.
It's great. All right, guys, listen, I don't want to take up any more of your time. You guys are on tour. You guys got shows to do. Any last words from any of you guys?
No, I mean, you asked us. Look, we hope to see everybody out tonight in Jersey. I'm a cheer dad. I heard Danielle told me you're a dance dad, and I should ask you about that. What's that experience about? All about?
It's terrible. It is terrible. Any dads that are listening, keep your kids away from dance. Oh my God! I swear. First of all, what these dance schools charge, it is obscene. How dare they charge so much money for dance? Unbelievable.
You almost need a second and third job to support it. But look, that being said, we just wanted to sincerely thank you guys. I was talking to everybody earlier, and we did blow up in New York first, and Z100 and KTU were responsible for us really kind of breaking all over the country. We wanted to express our gratitude and thank you guys. And for so many years later, having us on, giving us so much time, and we hope to see everybody at the shows.
Yeah, this has been really exciting for us as well. Right here at KTU, I was always at Z100 just, doing my thing, but now hosting the show to actually be playing your music here. And the audience here is different. The audience at this radio station is a little bit older. They lived and grew with you guys. So they are loving it. And we do all these throwbacks. It's amazing to go through some of the request lines and hear the bands that they still want to hear. It is so funny because they're all throwbacks themselves. So this is the best time to be coming back on tour, 100%. And with social media, with TikTok and Instagram, everybody's watching your stuff. It's great.
Yeah, and thankfully the fans are still passionate and still coming out and enjoying it, and it just makes it so much fun for us to be out there doing it again. So yeah, thanks to all the fans, and thanks again to you guys for the support. And we always love coming to New York. It's our favorite, and it's always great to be back here. It's kind of where it all started for us. So excited for the show tonight.
Well, listen, guys, I really do appreciate your time, I swear, and I don't want to take up any more of it, but thanks so much, and good luck, and hopefully I'll see you on tour somewhere. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Carolina with Greg T in the morning
on 103.5 KTU.